So we're out here exploring a new piece of water to us, and we've actually come out a little later in the day, hey, early afternoon.
Well, the truth is, we're after 3 weeks of solid going, chasing hoppers and big brown trout. I was exhausted. We had a friend down, we're going every day, and yeah, it catches up with you. So today is Saturday of the Labor Day weekend. We don't know if we're going to see a fish or 20 people, which is going to come first.
Yeah, we just have no idea. But you know what? We have seen the gulls above us, so we are hoping for ants.
Yeah, flying ants.
And, you know, we know there's tons of hoppers out here.
Yeah, will it all come together is the question. Will we avoid people? Are we in a right spot, reach a river where there might be a couple of big browns? We're going to find out, I guess.
Yeah, we sure are. And you know what? Every time we come out here, guys, it is an adventure. So come along and we will see how things transpire. But before we go, we just want to ask you, hey, if you haven't subscribed, we'd love for you to subscribe to our channel. We're definitely trying to grow it.
And as always, you know, when it comes to gear, we get a ton of questions. Everything from rods, reels, lines, pants, socks, everything that we use is listed in the gear list in affiliate links in the write-up below this video. And any purchase you make that through our affiliate links, a little bit of money comes our way and helps you support us so we can do exactly what we're doing today, sharing our little adventure, and more importantly, how we find fish and how we go about, well, trying to catch them. How about that?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's go take it on, guys. Okie dokie. So I thought I saw a bulge behind that fence post looking thing. I don't know that there's not going to be somebody sitting in the very tail out, and we don't have a high enough bank from which to spot. You add it all up and you better do a little prospecting. So the one thing that's got me, you can see the flat rock right ahead of me, and it's not my favorite. Usually when there's flat rock, it's not a good sign because there's not a lot of, you have to have benches and edges coming off that flat rock in order for a fish to hold. It needs current break, right? But this could be an undercut right along the back end of this bank right here. And you can definitely hear my pause in my casting because we are in wind that's going to be forecast to be about 25, 30 miles an hour, 40, 50 kilometers an hour. Oddly enough, headwind. Why wouldn't it be? It's always a headwind, right? So right now, while I'm casting, I'm also looking for darker shapes, smudges, movement, anything that might say, hey, that's a fish ahead of me. And in this water, it's going to show up kind of a gray, green, olive color. And that's what I'm looking for. And ahead of me here along this flat rock, I'm looking for a tail. Because if I see a tail, that's good news for Dave. Okay, let's just put this in this little pocket, see if anybody comes over. And the answer is no. So the one thing I will do as I come up on this is there's a bit of a higher slope to the bank over here. I'm just going to get up a little higher and put a little bit of bush between me and my target zone. That way I can look in there and see, did I see a fish? Did I just see a bubble? What did I see? I should be able to see underneath the foam line. From this height, I also should be able to see across anything nosed into that shelf out there. So you kind of got a couple things that you're looking at for movement, for rises, for. You're just looking. And now, yes, there's some weeds in where I was looking. And that's good. If there was weeds where I was looking, there's a chance that might have been a fish that I saw rise. Yeah, I see a couple little flashy things, nymphing. I'm just going to take my time getting in here. It's a lot deeper trough than it looks, but it's not amazing. I got to fish that all the way up because I'll be exposed pretty quick here. And if there's fish, well, you'd rather have one looking at your fly than running away from you. Right? I don't know. I doubt what I was looking at was much of a fish, but maybe dropped out from up there. And you cannot dismiss that stuff right along that drop off, those sticks up there. Draw one down. Nope. Nothing in that weed. Nothing in the weed. Just get it along. Oh yeah, there he was. Yeah, that would be the one that dropped out and did eat over there. So you gotta do your thing, right? That was a good, what a fish. What a take. You gotta assume that in that whole time that you're setting up, that you're doing everything with your leader and flies, you have to assume that if you see a bulge, that was a fish. And that bulge would have been right below those sticks. And chances are he was on the feed, dropped out from that slot that I caught him, went over and fed, and then went back home. Happens a lot with these browns. Oh, great start.
Absolutely, that's awesome.
It's a gorgeous little male, looks like, actually. Come on, bud. Come on, this way. Let's do this. Woo! Gorgeous fish.
Absolutely.
Nice start to the day.
Hey, hey.
Wicked awesome start.
Awesome. That's cool.
Wicked. There you go.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. There you go. Gorgeous fish.
Oh yeah, that's
There you go.
awesome, Dave.
Wicked.
Oh yeah, beauty, beauty, beauty.
Yeah,
Okay.
here we go.
Okay, and down we go.
Okay guys, so that one right there, you can see how low I am. And when I was setting up my line, when I was setting up my line, rebuilt the leader, got a new leader out to tippet ring, then 2 feet of 3X, then 2 feet of 4X, down to basically just the All Blacks, which is just black foam with medium brown crystal chenille and 2 sets of legs, fore and aft. Anyway, is it a beetle? Is it a hopper? Don't know, don't care. Fish love it any time of the year. But as I was doing the build up and retie and reset up of my system, I thought I saw right in behind this stick here, but in this bay, I was sure that I saw a bulge, and it looked like kind of a 19-20 inch brownie bulge. And I thought, okay, mark that. It wasn't there when we walked up, and you see where Amelia is right now. The idea here, if you look along this, is it's an angle. Like you can see that angle to the things. You could walk here and never be exposed, but what I do, I like to get higher up where Amelia is, but wider, so that you end up being able to be concealed by the grasses, so you can look in that shallow water there. And when you can look in and dismiss that as holding water, or that the fish is even there, now you can start to focus on where I caught the fish, and that was just outside of the stick. Usually if you see a stick like that, there's a cut bank underneath it, or at least a trough. And in this case, the trough is about 2 feet deep running along the edge of it. And my thought was, well, if he's not, I was pretty sure it was a fish, so if he's not in that bay where he likely dropped down, fed, went back out and went back up, he's probably just sitting just a little bit deeper. Why? Because we have ospreys, and brown trout don't like ospreys, oddly enough. So that was the thought on that. That's why once I dismissed the back area here, it was just okay, let's prospect where he probably is, and he was. So let's go see about the rest of the run. I'll get back up on here, and I'll get up, protect myself with the bush and grass best I can, walk real slow, and then I'm also going to start looking at that far ridge there, that gravel ridge. See little fingers coming off it, as well as the obvious foam is home line along this shore and the head of the riffle and current on our side. If I had to put money, there's got to be at least one more fish, if not two, right? Well, let's go find out.
Well guys, we got another piece of water here in front of us that looks really good, but I know that there's some flat rock down there. You can see it. The dynamics are that there are some good boulders throughout this, and you're kind of banking on a fish holding close to one of those boulders, because where I am further out is I'm actually going to stay back a little bit so I can get my balance first, but work these boulders in front of me right off of them, because most of that's flat rock. You can see kind of a lighter green, and I don't have high hopes in that stuff. Up, follow it, and out there. Yeah, right in there. Give it a twitch right along those rocks. If anyone's there, they're gonna come. Okay. So, yeah, it's kind of what I'm thinking now. Okay. Less energy on that back cast. Just let it extend and forward. Right there. I can hear that behind me. Dave's up on a high bank and the gravel's coming down as he takes a move. These aren't the most solid high banks in the world. Up. Yeah, right along in that. Oh yeah, little guy. That was 10 inches. He got me because, you know, it was something interested in my fly, but not really gonna set the hook. Now this stuff up ahead still holds a bit of potential. Oh yeah! Oh! I seen it. That was a downstream heat if there was any. What's that? Oh, I'm planning to. Yeah, big down and lazy brown downstream eat, guys. He's surfed up, as we talked about these guys like to do. You know, he just surfs up. I know I was over top of good looking rock, and just this lazy come downstream and just kind of lunge at it, not really eat it. So I'm gonna rest him, and then I'll probably go back in there with a slightly different fly here. Probably still a hopper pattern, but something different than this beetle pattern I had on.
In the middle there? Yeah. There's one there, there's one there. This one? Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna work up to that, okay? Because there's other stuff here. They're just telling me that there might be a fish just off this clay bank here. Really looking for smudges, shapes, noses, movement along the edges. Maybe not so much this edge until we get up here, but all that broken stuff across is just gorgeous stuff. Not amazing water, but it's water that there should be at least a fish. Make sure you land with a smack. Draw them out, draw them up. Okay, so now I'm going to bring this back around, and I'm just going to come off that now, hey? Right in here? Right in there. Right in there. Yeah, 10-incher. Probably that same fish. Oh, there he goes, wicked. Alrighty, so flat rock shelves are never the best, but sometimes you just find that one intersection of flat rock to broken rock in current seams. You might just stumble upon a monster sitting there right in that stuff, and you want to smack it so you get their attention. Flat rock intersecting with broken rock would be nice. I don't see a lot of that as yet, but we're gonna see what happens here and get one haul. Oh wow, that didn't go anywhere near as planned. Isn't that amazing? That wind just in gusts absolutely slams backwards at you. I still can't get it out. Oh yeah, oh no. And wind. It just stopped. What happened there was punched it into the wind, and a gust was coming, and it just stuttered. It's like kicking a football for hang time, and there's a point where you punt a football, goes up and flutters, and it just stalls and drops. And if you imagine that, if you imagine it going up, stalling and fluttering and coming back down, well, it's that whole zone here that's your slack. And cast out and stall, drop, slack, lower the rod tip, try to strip. But as you're lowering the rod tip and trying to be deliberate and strip, that's when the fish hits. And now you got to strip at the same time as you're setting your hook. And well, you line control on the cast. You've heard me say that a million times. Sometimes in the wind, you can't control that. I was trying to punch it in, didn't catch up to it. So line control on the cast is the very first thing that causes you to miss fish. Still a chance, small chance, but we'll see. Okay, let's see if once bitten, twice shy rules apply. I'm actually going to change. I'm going to get wide over here and try to angle upstream so I'm not punching straight into the wind. I'm going to try to slice it at 45 degrees three-dimensionally right through and see if I can't get a better angle to the fish and maybe a better hook set if he comes back or if there's another one in there. I just didn't like punching it up, and that flutter drop just killed me. So let's try to change that. Okay, so we got wind. Wow, we've got wind. Okay, so I'm gonna go a little shorter line, not too short. I still have a 13-foot leader, which might not be best, but that's what I'm using. Up the line speed, here we go, and smack it. Lower that rod tip. There we go. Yeah, it's the one that dropped on me, hey? It's the one that I just missed. Bad line controlled. You change your angle, you change your trajectory from straight upstream to 45 degrees upstream, cut through at 45 degrees on the three-dimensional plane, and get a hook set because you were able to drop your rod tip, and get the hook set. Awesome. Sweet. Okay, so there's a tale of two casts for you right there. Again, first cast, punch it straight into the wind gust comes, hits it, flutters it, dumps it. Line control at a premium, can't catch up quick enough, try, boof, miss, set, miss. Okay, that's just a disaster waiting to happen. Knew where the fish was and waited about 5 minutes in between casts, moved up the shoreline a little bit wider. That way I could cut that way. Does that make sense? Coming across 45 degrees. So, you know, like this at that angle right there. And what that does is just cuts. You know, you're 45 degrees upstream at an angle down to chop through the wind and not take on everything. I was able to get a straight line cast, lower the rod tip, one strip in, tighten up, fish takes, set the hook, done. And that's really what it's going to take. So am I smart enough to do that the whole way up? Let's go find out.
Well guys, it's my turn to have a go here. And what I got ahead of me is a very long glide. But I got quite a bit of flat rock across from me. Again, that lighter colored green, but it joins up with broken rock. And it's in that joining, that transition zone in there, that I'm hopeful to pick up a fish or two. And I'm gonna try to really practice this 45 degree thing that Dave was talking about in this wind. And that's where I'm hopeful, you know, I might actually get a decent cast or two and pick up a fish. I don't have really high hopes, but hey, it's the kind of stuff you gotta fish. Follow it back. It's pocket water in here, and it's water that's got grooves, so there's possibility. It's not hugely likely. I know, I can see it all. It's just like a giant, you can see here guys, it's just like a giant, almost looks like layers and layers of flat pancakes on top of each other. And the only potential is if a fish is holding in the crook off of these rocks, like where I'm coming down to. All right, straight up ahead of me here looks decent. Oh, really? Up in there.
Yeah. Otherwise, keep coming.
Yeah. Right in that inside bit. Anybody? No. Yeah, just not great water. Again, this would be just a fast wash in higher water. Very little to hold to. I guess there's one spot I maybe didn't get, which was across from me here, just around those rocks. But again, not likely. So we're both going at this piece of water together, guys. Dave's ahead of me. He's using our gigantic hopper, and I've got the beetle pattern, and we're gonna see what we can we can bring up here. I've got to keep some distance from him because he's got to do a bit of a sidearm cast. So you kind of ask, well, where do you cast in this stuff? Well, you kind of want to, you know, look around you and go, okay, so what's happening underneath the surface? And we know that there's a drop-off zone. We know that the shallow water that we're in leads to a drop-off zone somewhere out in here. We also know that on that far side, just by the boulders that are actually on shore, that there's going to be some boulders that are submerged on that far side. So we're both going to try to get some casts as far over as we can. Like Dave landed there, his fly, probably about 1.5 rods off of that bank. And yeah, any fish that's cruising is going to be cruising all throughout the boulders out there. I feel like towards the head, we got to see one anyway. But, you know, it's not screaming fish right now.
I'm staying way back so that if I see one,
Yes. Right on. Yep, there it is. Nice. Hell yeah.
close the gap.
Yep.
Right off that gap there, there's a
Flies out of the water.
really gorgeous gap in the rock up here.
Beauty.
And that fish, it was like if it's gonna be anywhere in this entire run, you know, that it had to be in that seam.
Oh yeah. That's a nice fish, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about 21, 22 maybe. Yeah, gorgeous, man.
Beauty.
There we go.
Awesome, Dave. Right on.
Wicked. Look at that thing, eh? Look at that hopper. Just hooked, eh?
Look at his colors though.
Yeah.
That's pretty. Hey?
Okay, let's get it going. Okay, so why is Dave out fishing Amelia today? Look at that water. All long, deep, slow. I guarantee there's a fish or two along there, but they're cruising. And if your timing of your casts and your prospecting aren't on, you're not gonna get the fish. And if there's not much in the way of hoppers, like there's hardly anything today, they're not gonna be showing themselves, so you can't go, I'm gonna target that. Flying ants, 5 o'clock, they haven't happened. Who knows? But as you come to the top, look at this. Right where that green, and right in the corner, right where I'm pointing, there's an amazing slot where the broken rock comes out of that rock shelf in the main current, chest deep. And the last few weeks of August and into September here, that's where they've been. And guess what? I was first because, you know, Amelia said go ahead, so I said okay, well, go ahead, no problem. But that's where that fish came from. And if you look at the water that we've each fished today, I've had 3 have to be fish spots, and I've caught 3 fish. Amelia's fished 1 has to be good fish spot, and she had a downstream take on a 20-incher and missed. That's how it goes. But 4 has to be fish spots, we've touched 4 fish and landed 3. I would refish that, love. And I'll get behind you now. Yeah.
It is some good looking water here. I can see some broken boulders over there. This has great potential all throughout it. It honestly does. There's broken rock. Now I'm starting to get into some, see, that's a little fish. I know that is based on, maybe I'm wrong. It's not that little. I am wrong. It's not that little a fish. But that wasn't a good hook set on my part at all. It just was such a subtle eat by this fish. All right, over you come. And up you come. That's chunkier fish than I gave it credit for. Definitely chunkier. That's a nice fish. Here he is. Ah, pretty, definitely a pretty brown. Okay guys, so I bet there's another fish in this water. It's too good a water to not have another fish throughout this because it's broken rock and it's just nice speed and nice depth. Oh yeah, good fish. Yeah. Definitely nice fish. Again, a subtle eat, but a really nice take right off those rocks. Awesome. Well, that's cool. You know the water, and this is the water. Again, it's that broken rock. Trout need their broken rock, and that's exactly where they're gonna hang out. Yeah, that's awesome. Come on, in you come. Okay, let's surf it up. Here, can we? Yeah, get that head up. No, not yet. Yeah, surf them over. It's just that funky water. Yeah. Come on. There we go. Now I can get his head up and keep it up. No. Yeah, head up and in the net. Yes, beautiful. Yeah, that's a nice fish. Definitely close to 19, I'd say, or so. Beautiful. Like I said, there just had to be another fish in that water. It was way too good looking. Yeah, so guys, like I said before, you know, you just can't get down when you've not been fishing the best water, as Dave talked about. You know, he definitely was out fishing me because he was fishing some of the better water slightly. It's just how things rolled out. But hey, I just said to myself, you know, keep at it today. Even though we're getting towards the end of our day, I'm in a classic run that has full of wonderful broken rock, lots of dips and depressions for those trout to hold in, and yeah, pick up 2 fish just like that. So yeah, again, you know, don't ever lose confidence in what you're doing and even the fly that you're using, because again, a lot of it has to do with the water type and making sure that, you know, you get into the right water type. And this has the flow, the broken rock, and the fish are here. Go figure.